Hi, welcome to Senioritis, the podcast about seniors and our experience at Abington High School. With me today is Aaron Johnson, Derek Tirrell, and unfortunately, everyone's favorite, the Beaver, is not here today. But he will be with us once again next week. So, how's everybody doing?
Doing good. Sad Joe couldn't make it though.
I know.
But we move on, I guess. Derek, how
Yes,
about
we
you?
do. I'm doing great. Good day so far. What about you guys?
Can't complain.
So, I guess I'll hop right into it. There's been something on my mind that has been absolutely just a brain explosion. So, Wall Street, it's usually seen as like this corporate um, overlord type situation where these billionaires just keep on making money. They control the stocks. Well, not anymore. There's this Reddit page called Wall Street Bets, and it has been absolutely hilarious what has been happening recently. So to put it in kind of like an easy to understand perspective, all these billionaire hedge funds, they all said that the GameStop stocks, all these like bankrupt companies, kind of like Hertz, like the I think it's a car service or the what they do is all these bankrupt companies, all these billionaires do these things called shorts, where they bet that the company will do bad. But Wall Street Bets has taken it into their own hands to absolutely send this stock to the moon. It's like 2.9 million. They call themselves degenerates, and they have pumped so much money into this GameStop stock that they're just absolutely like shaking up like these big Wall Street corporations. It is awesome to see. Um, GameStop back in July started at $4 and is now up to all the way to $364 per share, which is a
Wow.
huge amount of money. I don't know if you guys understand the stock market too much, but that is an insane like boost. And I know you guys might not be as passionate as I am, but oh my god, I've just been following this whole thing, and it is crazy. They're making history with this stock.
So
That's
AMC
awesome.
Theaters, the same thing happened this morning, where it went up 200%, correct?
Yeah, and what they did was like first they took GameStop and they actually sent so GameStop is actually like this helps the company out too because when you buy the
Yeah,
stocks, the company gets to sell them and
big
regain
time.
Yeah.
regain market share. So Wall Street Bets has done two things. They've made more money for the common man because it's all like these blue collar people just putting in all their money and sending it up. And they've also helped two companies so far. So GameStop and AMC on like the brink of bankruptcy. They have, I think it was like $900 in market cap they gave back to AMC because AMC, what happened was the stock inflated and then AMC sold those stocks. So they actually recuperated a lot of money. And it
Yeah.
is it's awesome to see because it's so wholesome and
Yeah, because AMC's they'll be okay now.
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's because they're back to what they were worth in 2018, which is even better than like right before the pandemic. Because
Yeah.
theaters have been declining for a few years now, and that definitely put quite the powerful band-aid on it, and hopefully will stop the bleeding and slow death of movie theaters because I love the movie theaters. So
Yeah.
that
Speaking of
was great to
movies,
see, especially seeing as AMC is my theater of choice.
yeah.
So I was very excited to see that.
Did you guys ever see the movie The Big Short with
No.
Steve Carell, Ryan Gosling? Well, it's about what you're talking about. They did like the biggest short in like Wall Street history and like ridiculous amounts of money. And I feel like we are witnessing the second biggest short. They're gonna make a movie about how these people have saved AMC theaters and GameStop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have very close connections to both companies. I've sat outside of GameStop for multiple hours on end, and I've also spent multiple hours at AMC theaters. I've been locked out of AMC theaters once.
Good times.
Both companies that I love, so it's great to see it. What do you guys want the next one to be? Who are they saving next? Who?
I don't know because it's all on their Reddit. I don't know who they're because what they do is they take like the whole reason is they take companies that are really undervalued or like close to bankruptcy, and they see value in their stock. So that's like this whole equation that you can go through to actually find the worth of a stock. But I don't know what companies are like on the brink, like bankrupt right now.
I'm not
Oh,
sure.
Cheesecake Factory.
Cheesecake Factory is next.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to help out Cheesecake Factory. But I mean, it's good to help like these big corporations like from bankruptcy. But what's going to happen is like all these small businesses are going to get absolutely destroyed. Have you guys seen what Portnoy's been doing?
No.
Mm-mm.
So Dave Portnoy, founder of Barstool, it is awesome. So he has this thing called the Barstool Fund, where the everyday person can donate money and it accumulates. And I believe they're over $30 million right now in donated money. And what happens is these small businesses can apply to the Barstool Fund for how much money they need to get through this pandemic and to help out their business and like what they're in debt for. And every week he picks like 2 or 3 businesses, and he personally helps them out, gives them all the money, and he posts it on Instagram. And it's the most wholesome thing to see because it's not a small amount of money. He gives like $20,000 to $30,000 away.
Nice.
But it's just awesome to see like how many people. There's been like hundreds of thousands of people who've donated just to help out all these small businesses. That he's doing more than the government at this point. It is. There's so much good things going on in 2021.
Yeah, it's looking good. Today, I committed to Fitchburg State University, so it's official.
Oh
Fitchburg State.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm
Awesome.
very excited with
Congratulations,
that.
dude.
Thank you. What's college looking like for you guys so far?
Do you want to go, Max? I've been
No. You go first.
Okay. Well, it's been a little bit of a rocky road. So I've gotten into, for me, it's been kind of flipped on its head. I've gotten into a lot of the reach schools that I didn't think I'd get into, like Penn State and WPI, but also a lot of like these safe schools. So like UMass Amherst, I would consider around like a safer range, considering the demographic of people who've actually got into it. But I actually got denied from Amherst. Because there's on like a GPA scale, like the average is like a 3.2 to get in there, and right now I'm averaging around like a 3.75, 3.8, depending on the senior year average. So I don't know if you guys didn't apply to a lot of colleges, correct?
No, I only did like 3 or 4. Yeah.
I did like 5, I think. 4, 5. Who knows?
Well, I applied to 11 colleges, and I'm seeing that the ones that I thought would be like a really safe bet have gotten just a huge influx of, I wouldn't say a safe bet, but like a mid-range school, kind of like not a safety, but what I would expect to get into. They've gotten bombarded with applications. Like and Amherst said they got around 40,000 applications, and I can kind of see why SATs are like a real thing and why they're actually pretty important. Because before I never really understood, but the SAT adds like an extra layer of qualification. So these colleges aren't getting bombarded like they are right now. And I guess we're seeing the outcome of that.
I mean, I never took the SATs. Just I scheduled it 5 or 6 times. I think I had to reschedule, like refunded, repaid. It was awful, and I just never ended up taking them. And I did end up getting into all the colleges I did apply to. So all the ones I applied to, I did get in. But yeah, I could see that being like a big issue because I'm sure that yes, they read most of their applications, but you can't tell me that they don't look at the top 8 SAT score and work down, SAT by GPA and start from that top corner of that graph and move inwards,
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just been really interesting to see. Matt, you about to talk?
No, I wasn't.
Oh.
I'm still waiting to hear from NYU. I've got like 2 weeks around that left for that decision. That is my number 1 school. But under that, I have Emerson, which I have been accepted to. And I've been doing like a lot more research on it. And the more I see, the more I really like that school.
Emerson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but like it's like NYU is a secret agency because I honestly I can't find like any pictures of inside the building or like their film studio or anything. but Emerson is like an open book. Like I've taken virtual tours, I've seen pictures.
Virtual tours are really nice for
Yeah.
any school. Virtual tours are like super cool.
Yeah. But I mean, either way, I'm gonna study film, and it looks like I'll be happy wherever I go.
Yeah, that's where I was
Um,
at.
It's weird to think that, like, I mean, obviously this year and last year has been awful. Well, 2020. But like it's weird to think that like we didn't take SATs, we didn't take midterms, finals were eliminated for us. Like for the most part, like our first few years, we've had kind of an easy ride. I feel like this is kind of like comeuppance for it.
Yeah.
But it's weird because like you hear like your parents or like some of your older siblings or whatever talk about, taking the SATs, the PSATs, the midterms, finals, all that. And we like haven't done any of that. We had MCAS, but like that was it.
Yeah. It's
We are
crazy.
in for a rude awakening when we get to college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as much as I don't want to take midterms and finals, it was necessary to kind of prepare us for college.
And we have not taken midterms or finals throughout our entire high school career. So it's definitely gonna be interesting. For me, I know like college school is no joke. Like you gotta like put everything you have into it. But at least like I have so much going on outside of school right now. So I'm excited to, go to college and sit down and just focus on college and everything that entails, the social aspect, just like going to like the college gym. Fitchburg has like a really nice like gym facility. Like I want to like start working out more and just kind of like putting everything I have into college opposed to right now where I'm kind of like spreading myself pretty thin with everything. So although it is going to be like challenging in that one regard, I'm really excited to like dive into it and like really apply myself to college,
Yeah. We're all like planning on living at our dorms, right, for the college?
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
And
It's gonna be fun.
where in Massachusetts is Fitchburg? Is that more like out west?
Up north.
Up north?
Yeah.
Like near Boston or more like up north out, like northwest?
Do you have a map on you right now?
No, I do not have. Let me find it because I know it's up, but hold on.
Because I gotta say, seeing like the competitiveness of this year's admissions, I was lucky to get into WPI. So realistically, that's probably where I'm gonna land.
Where's that?
That's in Worcester.
Oh, okay.
So, and if Matt goes to Emerson, we're gonna have like a triangle in Massachusetts.
Nice.
Yeah.
We can corner the state.
Now we can all meet up to play Star Wars board games as we do.
It's just interesting to see like where everybody goes. When I first started my application process, I had like these big dreams of like going to California or going to Florida to go to college, but then it's like, oh, it's like $20,000 more.
Yeah, I had that. I was in a similar situation for sure.
Yeah, and
It's
if I
like
could
Lowell and like
around Lowell,
yeah,
uh,
near New Hampshire,
sweet.
I think.
If I could give any advice, college, like I feel like it's not as glamorous as you think it'd be. Like once you get down to the real like nitty gritty of it, it's a really hard decision to make.
Yeah. And you hear like, your parents and like older people say like, oh, college, it's serious. And like, yeah, okay. And then you get that and you see these numbers and you're like, oh my God, like, why didn't anyone prepare me for this? It's tough.
And I feel like they're doing a better job in schools, but no one can really get you to that big shock of like seeing that you could eventually be paying like anywhere from like 100 to 200 grand for your school, and that's going to be like the rest of your life. That's going to be like a mortgage payment where it's going to be like 20 to 30 years to pay off.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. I mean, you really do need to just not look at the school based on like its name and like its recognition. You really need to, whatever you want to do, dive deep into what each school offers and kind of evaluate the cost reward aspect of it,
Yeah. The
So, and like,
greatest
what's
thing.
this school going to do for
Sorry.
you, Sorry, go ahead.
No. It's one of these
No, I
days.
was
By the
finished
end of the
talking.
last episode, I'm gonna not interrupt
Yeah.
someone.
No, go ahead.
Um, I don't know who said this. It was probably like multiple people. I think Miss Flommer said it first. Like college is an investment. Like you get what you put into it, and you need to make sure that like, you're putting it into the right school that's going to do the right things for you. And so it's tough to like, we have like hopes and dreams of what we want to do, and it's like it's hard to kind of like figure out the equation of like, okay, what's realistic? How can I do something realistic that I'll love, that I'll enjoy, that could help
Mm-hmm.
me, pay off these massive loans I'm going to get? And
Right.
it's like it's so hard to describe that,
Yeah.
that mental process.
Yeah. You're right. I think like realism is like, will I be able to pay this off? A lot of cases, like, I don't know. I'm like, are my kids going to be inheriting this debt if I don't like play my cards right?
Yeah.
But also, I feel like no matter where you go, it is like you gotta just apply yourself and you take advantage of everything. Even in high school, I've found that where we took advantage of like everything that there was, like building relationships with teachers and using like the studio we have in the school and like the weight room and just like wherever you go, you just got to take advantage of everything that that school has to offer. And you just got to make sure that whatever school you go to has good things to offer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like for me, it was kind of like a feeling. Once I found the school that was right for me, I kind of knew,
Yeah.
because I feel like as, you want to balance. Like I toured one school, beautiful campus, but the program just didn't match up with the one at Fitchburg that I want to do, So, I mean, Fitchburg's campus is really nice. Matt, we went there for a self-guided tour,
Yeah.
and it's really nice. So I'm super excited to go there. But I feel like every school has its own like atmosphere. Have you
Mhm.
guys kind of like picked that up? And you kind of got to like feel it out as well as do your research.
Can you describe this feeling to me? Is it like an itch or like a rash?
Yeah,
I
it's
haven't
weird.
got that feeling yet.
No, have you toured a lot of the schools you've gone to?
No, I
Or you've
haven't.
applied to?
They've all been virtual tours. They haven't been like physical, real tours.
Okay, so yeah, Fitchburg had virtual tours, but it also had a self-guided, like in-person tour. So there was like no tour guide, but it was like, what was it, Matt? Did they give us like a map and then it gave us like numbers and you go
Yeah.
to like place to place and it shows you where to go?
Just like a little
And it had
pamphlet.
like a lot of information. Yeah, it was a little pamphlet. There was like QR codes on it and stuff with like videos of like the interiors. And I don't know, I feel like you really need to get involved with like the application process. Like with all the schools I went to, I was like talking on like Zoom and like Google Meets meetings with like my admissions counselors and talking to like students. I talked to a student, a film student at Fitchburg, and she really gave me like a lot of insight and like really talk to people who know what they're talking about when it comes to the area you want to study. And just from doing that at like most of the schools I applied to, or just like really diving in, I just felt like with Fitchburg, I really kind of liked the program because it's pretty well esteemed. The tuition and like costs are much more reasonable than some of the other schools I applied to and much more realistic for me based on like the packages that I got. And overall, just like obviously it doesn't come down to this because I think whatever you want to do, making sure that there's a good program is number one, at least in my opinion. My number one was, does it have a good film program? And Fitchburg's is pretty highly esteemed. So it did kind of, in the end, one of the things that sold me was that atmosphere. And Fitchburg has like a game room like thing, and like the people are all like super friendly that I've talked to. I've talked to like a good amount of people there. And Matt and I met the president on our tour, and yeah, overall, I don't know. I really don't know how to describe it, but everything kind of aligned. Program super good. I really liked the campus. I really liked the atmosphere, the people, and the stars kind of aligned, and I just kind of knew, you know.
Hmm.
I also am a big fan of the green and gold color. I think
Yeah.
that looks pretty
Pops.
cool. Yeah.
I guess a big problem for me is that a lot of places have a computer science program, and they all kind of, I wouldn't say mesh together, but like the nuances in some of them, they're I really found like Carnegie Mellon, Northeastern, and WPI really like set themselves like far from everybody. But the computer science major is everywhere, and it seems like I can get that education anywhere I go, but I don't know what
Yeah.
sets them differently.
Yeah.
And I've
Right.
looked, I've done research, and I still don't know why like this place costs like 20,000 while this place costs like 70,000.
You
Like
have to be careful about that. You don't want to, go all in, and then, you could have paid 20,000 less for the same or similar,
education.
you never know.
Yeah.
That's like one of the hardest parts in my opinion. And even like just watching like TED Talks and like people talk about college, about how like they were gypped and how they're like even like relatives that are like
It's all a
in
scam.
debt for like a long time, like hundreds of, like I have cousins that are like in debt, and just like anyone like I know, you know what I mean? You always hear about debt being like crazy, and especially with what I want to do, you're not like making a ton of money right off the bat necessarily. So I want to be able to just like kind of advance my skills. I had like a really good conversation with my dad about all this, and it was kind of like, yes, it's very like college names do a lot. They really do. But in the end, you people want to see what you can do. So as long as you can really apply yourself and learn what you need to do, because it comes down to having a valuable skill. If you, no matter where you go, if you can get this valuable skill and impress the right people, then that's all. Well, that's the most important thing. If I go to Harvard and I like clown around and don't like gain any skills, what's the point? Like
Yeah.
as if you can go to a school and really apply yourself and really gain valuable skills, then that's the most important thing. And that's what I was really looking for. Which school can give me valuable skills at a cost that isn't going to put me in debt for the rest of my life? And that's kind of my equation. And it kind of just equaled the school I chose. But yeah, I hope the best for you guys. And I hope you guys kind of like click with a place like I did. So
Yeah. It's I think we have like an advantage because like I took personal finance this semester, and we watched videos of like these 20, 30-year-olds that like they just went to college because they heard it was a good thing, and
yeah,
they had no idea what they were doing, and they're like, oh sure, I'll take free money, and they didn't know that like they had to pay it back with interest, and like they didn't even know that they're like hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, and they have like no idea, and then someone says, oh, here's a plan for you to pay that. I'm like, oh sure. Like they don't do the research. And because we have the internet, because we can watch videos of people like telling their honest experience, like we have that knowledge in the back of our heads. And I think school has done a good job of like, I mean, in Abington, Massachusetts, like we're a college heavy school. And I
yeah,
think like sometimes it's hard for like teachers to like recognize that like not every person is going to college. But I feel like at the
yeah,
same time, like I feel like it depends on the teacher, because I've had teachers that like, when you go to college, when you go to college. But I've had other teachers say like, if you go to college, and like really weigh the pros and cons. And especially,
yeah,
the last few decades, everyone is focused on getting a college education when the trades are becoming increasingly more valuable. And so
yeah.
there
They
really
are
is no like definitive answer.
Yeah.
right.
Just so
You're right.
nauseating.
Yeah. It's like the game of life. There are tons of different ways, the what's the doctor.
The brain surgeon, is it, or something like that?
Yeah, like the doctor, he could, pay loans and go to college and do all that, but this is a terrible analogy.
The entertainer
And
now.
the entertainer.
The
They
entertainer.
could have the most fulfilling life, and they could have kids that give them the retirement gifts, and they could win the most amount of money at the end.
They could
Win
end
the
up in that
lottery.
millionaire mansion,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's it called? What's it? You can either end up in I think it's like Chestnut Hills or like
Yeah.
I'm gonna find these.
The retirement homes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Homes.
I cannot type right now. Oh my god.
The game of life. Hold on. Let me look up the
in
game
the game
board.
of what? Not life.
There's Countryside Acres and Millionaire Estates.
Yeah. I guess it's just
Neither
all
of
game of
those sound
life.
too bad. Those don't sound too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you could either end up in Countryside Acres or Millionaire Estates. Wait, I think I said that wrong. Nope, I said that right. Yeah. Put that into
The
perspective.
acres don't sound that bad.
I heard my sister showed me a video, and it was Jim Carrey, and he was doing like a commencement speech or something, and he said that like his father, I think he was like an accountant or something, and he wanted to be a comedian, but like he heard people say, it's so risky, it's this, it's that, so he became an accountant, and he made good money, and that was his safe option. And then he got laid off, and his family was homeless for like a long time. And he learned that even the safe options, it's no guarantee with anything. So why not, shoot for the stars and do what you want?
Not? Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that, man.
That's like my motto now. I was like, that's brilliant.
Dude. Because that's so true. People do go the safe option and it doesn't work out. So if it's not going to work out, I'd rather it not work out, be going for, your dreams,
Yeah. But you should have like a backup plan. But I think you should always, do what you want first. But
yeah.
I think that's something to live by.
But yeah, also times change, big time. Things are very different now than they were. When I tell people I want to go into the film industry, first thing, oh, that's such a competitive industry.
Yep, that's what they say.
But there's so many jobs now, so many like niche little jobs I can get doing film production and doing what I love. It's not like it was where it's like, it's just different. Times change, and anyone like I want to say over the age of like 40, super competitive industry. You know what I mean? And it is. But there's still a lot of jobs, Yeah,
I mean, I've heard people from Abington, like go places in this industry. Someone was name dropped at the Emmys like the other year when Henry Winkler won.
Yeah,
like it's not. I mean, you can't be blind and say like sure it's competitive and just like walk right in like, hey, Hollywood. But
right, yeah, no, that's no.
But it's not impossible.
But there are jobs.
Yeah,
and there are jobs, like obviously, yes, that would be so cool to like get an Emmy, but I'm not like, oh, I'm like 100% directing like the next biggest Hollywood movie. I would be so happy just going off and doing some random documentary with someone as long as it like pays and like is a good experience, you know what I mean? Like there's just so many different jobs, and think about all the movies and TV shows out there and how many people are on those credit rolls, and I don't think that like it will be impossible for me to get a job after college is what I'm saying, which is kind of what some people like think or like make it seem. Obviously, Aaron, with what you're doing. No, I was just saying, like, with what you're doing, with what you're planning on doing, there's plenty of jobs. So.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I was lucky to find, like, this passion early. I love computer science. I love coding. I love programming. So it's just the way I'm going. But I wish there was more preparation for college and for life, because I feel like these last 2 years have been, like, the most impactful I've ever had. Because you have to make this decision like soon, like right now. And it's crazy because it's the rest of your life. The rest of your life all comes down to this 1 year. Because you decide your major, you decide whether you want to go to college or not. Like this, like, I mean, you can obviously you can go different ways, but this is like where you make a big decision. And it's just,
Right. And even if you don't end up the way you think, it still impacts the rest of your life because you still do end up with that debt, or you still do end up, it's just consequential no matter. There's no way, there's no option that says, okay, this isn't going to have as big of an effect as this. No matter what you do after this year, it's big. And no matter what you decide to do, it's going to impact your life in a big way. Senior year is crazy. And I think that's just so crazy and like stressful to think about. And that's why normally senior year, they have all these like different fun things to kind of balance that. And I think with COVID, it kind of only like exaggerates like the stressful aspects, so it's been
Like,
crazy.
who thought I would be this like, who gave me this responsibility? It's
Yeah.
All right, let's get off this morbid topic. We've been on college for like 20 minutes.
So Bernie Sanders has been all over the place.
Great segue.
We've seen him everywhere, what is your favorite Bernie Sanders in the chair with the mittens like spotted meme? Where's like the best place you've seen Bernie? Because he's been all over the internet. So
the best place.
Take a minute.
Oh man.
I'm not gonna remember. I just saw one the other day, and it was.
Yeah, I've seen so many. That just kind of like saturated my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
I've seen him in the Game of Thrones suit. I've seen him.
Dude, I've seen him in like Boba Fett, his like throne, or Jabba's throne, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
The Book of Bernie.
He just looks so miserable.
I've seen some good ones. I've seen some good ones with The Office, with like Pam having like her head on Bernie's shoulder, which was funny.
I think the best one I saw was he was sitting next to Forrest Gump on the bench. That one made me. That was like the first one that like I saw. It was like, oh, this is gonna be a big thing.
I'm gonna go with the Game of Thrones.
My favorite one has it. Super selfish, but my favorite one's the one my boss made because it's all me and all my coworkers, and he's there with us, which is hilarious. So I guess that's kind of cheating, but
that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I mean, we've gone on for a little while here. I think it's been like 40 minutes.
Yeah,
we'll wrap it up here.
Great episode.
Yeah.
Very serious.
This has been deep.
I mean, not every episode can be.
Here. Joe usually lightens the mood quite a bit. So next episode when he's back,
Next episode is all going to be bird theories and no stock market and birds control the stocks. And
no.
Yeah.
That stuff.
Yeah. No.
All right.
Well,
thank you for watching.
The alien. Yeah, we'll have the aliens in the the obelisks popping up all over the place again. So maybe Bernie will, be with the obelisk or sitting on top of it. Who knows at this point? Because anything happened during the senior year. Thank you for watching this episode of Senioritis. Make sure you catch the next one. Thank you.